Hey guys, how we doing? Welcome back to Science. Hope you guys are having an awesome day so far. If it's the morning, hope you had an awesome sleep. Uh, we are starting a new lab today. It's called the Boat Project. Okay, your entire goal for the Boat Project is to build a boat that can carry as many rocks as you possibly can. Right, and to get those rocks, you can literally just go outside and pick up whatever rocks you want. Right. So the first step is going to be planning, and when you plan, you always have to make a blueprint, right? Even in the real world, before we build a boat or a building or anything, we make a blueprint, right? I'm going to show you in a second how to build that blueprint, but real quick, your blueprint is going to include a view from the top, a view from the side, and a view from the front. And you're also only going to measure in centimeters, okay?
So here's my pretend boat, okay? And this wouldn't work because it's already pre-made, but I'm gonna use it for an example, right? So the first thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna measure something called the front, okay? And I've labeled it for you. This is what the front of your object would be, right? And I'm gonna measure two different things. I'm gonna measure the width right here. So I'm gonna take my centimeters and I'm gonna measure it from the longest end here to the other side right there, okay? And I'm gonna call that about 13 centimeters. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over to my already pre-made diagram, and on the front view, for the width, I'm gonna write 13 centimeters, okay? Then I'm gonna measure this, the height, right? And the height for the front would be right here. So I'm gonna take my stick again, I'm gonna set it next to it, and I'm gonna call that about 8 centimeters, okay? So I'm gonna come back to my diagram, and on the height for the front view, I'm gonna write 8 centimeters, okay? The next thing that you're going to measure is the side view, okay? So here's the front, turn it like this, that's the side, okay? Now the front's over here, okay? Front, side. Now there's two things I'm gonna measure. I'm gonna measure this, the length. I'm gonna measure the height again. Well, I already know what the height is, right? I already have it here. The height's 8 centimeters. So I can write that in right here. 8 centimeters, okay? Just like that. The only other thing I have to measure is the length, this long side right here. So I'm gonna take my ruler again. I'm gonna set it next to my object, just like that. I'm gonna line it up. And it looks like it's 23.5 centimeters, okay? So I'm gonna write 23.5 centimeters, just like that. Now the last thing that you need to measure is the top view, okay? And the top view from the side is up here, okay? Here's my top, literally just looking down on it. And what I'm gonna measure is this side right here, the width, and this side right here, the length. Well, I already know both of these, so I can just go into my diagram and I can look, okay, how far is this? Well, this is the width, and this is also the same thing, right? This right here is that right there. I'm gonna call this, I already know, 13 centimeters, okay? Now, the last thing that I need is this long side. That's right here, 23.5 centimeters, okay? And that's it.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that little walkthrough. This is the next thing that I want to talk about, the limitations for the boat. We're not going to worry about mass because some of you don't have scales at home, but your limitations that you will need to stick to are size. So your boat cannot exceed 11.5 centimeters for the length, it cannot exceed 11.5 centimeters for the width, and it cannot exceed 5 centimeters for the height, okay? For materials to build the boat, you can use almost whatever you want, but there are limitations, and let me tell you what those are. First off, you cannot use anything that was pre-made for boats. So you can't just take a toy boat and cut off a couple stuff and then say, I'm done. Can't do that, right? And then the second thing, you can't use anything that's solely for the purpose of floating. For example, pool noodles. Can't use those. They're only used for floating, right? The next thing is you can't use something that might not look like a boat, but you still use it anyways. So for example, I can't just take this cup and cut it in half and say this is my boat. Or I can't just take this cup and put it in the water and say it's my boat, right? You got to build it from scratch, okay? And that brings up the next point. You can't use anything that's pre-built. You have to take the materials that you find and then put them all together from scratch to build your boat. You might be wondering, where do I get these materials? What materials can I use? So here's an idea. The dollar store is a super great place to get materials, super cheap. 3 things that I've seen a lot of people use: wooden sticks from outside, straws, and tin foil or clay, okay? Just some ideas. The other thing that you cannot do is you cannot take plastic bags, blow air into them, seal it, and then use it for flotation, right? We've seen that before. Can't do that. That's kind of cheating for this, right? And then the last thing that I want to make you aware of, but don't worry about it yet, is that you're going to make a journal at the end of this, reflecting on how you did in the process of science, because that's what this is all about, the process of science, right? Last thing here, and then I'm going to show you the rubric. The above restrictions here are not limited to what is said here, okay? So if I look at your project and when I'm doing a check-in and I see something that probably isn't going to fly, I'm going to have to tell you to change it, okay? Not everything is expressed on this document right here. So let's look at the rubric. This is what I want you to focus on right now. Project plans, aka the blueprint, were submitted on time 9/4/2020 Friday by 5 p.m. Okay, that is what is due today. These are going to be just check-ins. The blueprint, the construction, day 1, day 2, day 3, they're all going to be me checking in with you to see how you're doing and giving you feedback. The other thing that is on the rubric is your finished product. That's going to be next Friday, that you met the size limitations and that you did your journal, okay? So let me show you where you're going to show me your boat for these check-ins and then your journal as well, okay? That's going to be right here on boat construction checkpoints. So for today, I only want you to worry about this first slide right here. Project plans, blueprints, due 9/4, Friday, that's today, by 5 p.m. What you're going to do is you're going to take a picture of your blueprint. You're going to insert your image here. And then over the weekend, I'm going to find time to give you some feedback on it, okay? These other slides, we'll talk about them later, but they're all the checkpoints. This is reminding you it's due on next Friday. This is for your journal, all right? So that's it. This is going to be a super fun project. Hope you guys have an awesome weekend. I will see you all on Wednesday.